All right. The Antonia Villaraigosa Award. That's pretty cool. Mayor Villaraigosa, what an honor. Mickey, thank you very much. Mickey, just for the record, please don't have mayors follow the hometown mayor. That's not fair. I mean, come on. Mayor, great speech. Really appreciate it. Congratulations. Give another round of applause. Mickey Ibarra, thank you for creating this organization that recognizes leadership not at the local level, but you do at a lot of national organizations as well. You spent your career in government, bringing people together, now in your private sector career, bringing people together for the good of our society. So let's give Mickey Ibarra another big round of applause. He's awesome. We appreciate it. And Mayor Villaraigosa, this award, what an honor it is to receive an award named after you. You have been a positive influence and role model for myself and so many other mayors and people that care passionately about public service that are represented here in this room. I've admired you since the time I served on the city council in the city of Phoenix. You know, I think everyone here remembers the massive marches to push for immigration reform that swept the country in 2006 and 2007. Those of us in Arizona remember the marches down Washington Street in downtown Phoenix, but the one across the country that sticks out in my mind was the one that occurred in Los Angeles, and that's because of you, Mayor. For those of you who don't remember, in LA there was a crowd of nearly 500,000 people marching through the streets of Los Angeles, marching straight toward City Hall. And it was at a time when many politicians, not very many politicians wanted to be around these type of marches. Mayor Villaraigosa met those marchers at the door of City Hall. He waved an American flag, literally waved a massive American flag, and he said, "You are all welcome here. America is your country too. Every person deserves a shot at the American dream," unquote. That is leadership. That's the real deal. That to me is a perfect example of how a mayor, through their tone and their own actions, can make a difference and send a message that every person in our respective communities and our cities has value. I think about that moment often, Mayor. And the 2 years that I've been lucky enough to be mayor of Phoenix, Arizona, I've tried to follow the example you have set through my own actions and through my own words. I've tried to make sure that every person in my community understands that they are welcome in the city of Phoenix. It's important to all of us. Every person in our city understand that the diversity that we are lucky enough to have in the city of Phoenix, and will soon be a majority Latino city in the city of Phoenix, that thank you, that's great news, that diversity is our greatest strength, not our weakness. And that's something that I want to do. It's something that I've come to believe that we have a responsibility to do, because with the continued failure at the federal and, in our case, state level, getting real work done is falling on the shoulders of cities and mayors more and more. That's true everywhere. I know people in this room know exactly what I'm talking about, not just in Phoenix. And Mayor Gray, your leadership is an example of that, and the focus you've put on lifting up your city's Latino community is a great example of what local communities can do. Your leadership is very, very much appreciated. And we all know there's been a vacuum in Congress, and I'm not the only person in this room who was incredibly frustrated with the continued failure of Congress to pass real, comprehensive immigration reform with a path to citizenship. And that failure has allowed state legislators around the country, most notoriously in the state of Arizona, to pass their own divisive laws. You know what you've read about 1070 and the state of Arizona, but I have to tell you something. 1070 doesn't represent Arizona. It doesn't represent Phoenix, the city that I am lucky enough to lead. The city that I lead, and I have spent nearly all my life is compassionate. The city that I lead is compassionate and welcoming and has an enormous heart. I see all of those qualities and a special energy from our young Latino population, especially those dreamers in our city who want one thing: a fair shot at the American dream. They're hungry for it. They're willing to work for it. And when you combine that energy and determination and add to it bilingual skills and a sense of entrepreneurialism, we as a community have a better shot of a great future. It gives us an enormous opportunity to grow, especially when it comes to trade with Mexico and Central and Latin America. I'm committed to harnessing the strength of our diverse populations and using it to get our economy back on track for the long term. We started by working overtime to repair and rebuild our relationships with the country of Mexico, Arizona's #1 trading partner. That takes time, and I've been lucky enough to be on trade missions to Mexico 5 times over the last 2 years, and each time it is getting better because we as a community are putting in the work to strengthen that relationship, especially when it comes to the issue of trade and the jobs that go along with it. And I want to take this very moment to recognize someone who has been an incredible partner for myself, Mayor Smith, and the other leaders in this effort to increase trade with Mexico and rebuild those relationships. And that is our friend who Mickey mentioned, Ruben Alvarez. Ruben, please stand. Let's give a big round of applause. He's on the board of Latino leadership. It is because of your time on the Arizona-Mexico Commission and the relationship that you built, and now we're repairing, is helping us get the job done. It's for the betterment of the future of Arizona, and I appreciate it. That work is paying off. Last October, Mexico's Foreign Secretary came to my office, and we spoke about how excited he is that our relationship is moving in the right direction in Phoenix and in Arizona. And because of our progress, Phoenix will be opening its first ever trade office at Mexico City, and it'll be the only Arizona trade office in Mexico. Our efforts are going to benefit not only the city of Phoenix, the entire region, and the entire state of Arizona. I really believe that our entire region can have greater success if we work together to renew our partnership and friendship with the country of Mexico. And my friend, Mayor Scott Smith, I want to thank you publicly because of your support, not only specifically on the issue of trade with Mexico, and you've been a great leader on that issue as well, but also for your leadership as an advocate for immigration reform. It is not always easy in Arizona, in our political environment back home, to do what you are doing in that regard. But you understand how important it is for cities to lead, and lead in a way and time again that you've done what is right over what is politically convenient. And that is something that I've always respected about Mayor Smith. Let's give him another round of applause. And as excited as I am about the progress we made with our relationship with Mexico and Arizona, that is not enough. We have to use our pulpits, our bully pulpits, and use our voices to advocate for change. I was lucky enough to meet with the President, as many other people in this room was just a few hours ago, and I reminded him how important what he is doing to fight for comprehensive immigration reform, how important that is for Phoenix. And I would politely argue that no city, no region in the country will benefit by the passage of comprehensive immigration reform more than Phoenix and the entire Phoenix region. So we need everyone in this room to use your voice and make it loud to speak. I know a lot of people are writing this off, but I don't think it's time to write it off. Now is the time for Congress to act and do the right thing for our economy and pass comprehensive immigration reform. So I promise that back home in Arizona, I'll continue to be a vocal supporter and a voice and to try to pass the kind of legislation whose goal is to continue to do the right thing. And I will oppose laws. We have one going on right now in Arizona, which I think is going on in many other places around the country, laws that have tried to disenfranchise our minority communities, particularly the Latino community. And the other promise I'll make, and you'll probably unfortunately be reading about this more and more, is to be a strong voice to support enfranchisement, to get more people to the ballot box. It is the right thing to do, and efforts to disenfranchise people is taking us exactly in the wrong direction. And we're going to continue to push to raise college attainment rates around our Latino population. And in a city that will soon be majority Latino, it is absolutely unacceptable that the Latino college attainment rate is below that of other populations. We have to do right by our young people and give every young child a chance to succeed. I'm incredibly honored by this award named for a great leader, America's Mayor, Antonio Villaraigosa, and I promise you that despite the progress that we are making, you have not seen anything yet. We're going to keep at it. Thank you for this award and have a great evening.